Yeah, you heard me right.
It's your boy One Choice, and we are back with another Monday video. Been a little bit lax the last couple of weeks, but we are back making consistent content for you guys now. And I figured, what's happening recently in the media? Well, to start with, BuzzFeed's going out of business, so I thought, while they're still here, why don't we mock them one more time? So I've taken one of their most popular videos, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer 36 questions women have for men. And if my channel is still here by the time you watch it, we'll assume that YouTube hasn't found it yet. Alright, let's get into this.
How does it feel to be the same sex as Donald Trump?
Pretty damn good, actually. How does it feel to be the same sex as Jen Psaki and Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Julia Gillard, Olivia Rodrigo? The list goes on. So, yeah, if you want to label out one person you don't like and then try to list the entire gender in on one thing. Oh, wait a second, that's what you think we do. Shall we continue?
Why do you hate rom-coms? Or do you just feel like you need to hate them?
Everybody likes The Notebook. Everybody likes Beyonce. It's just a fact.
Okay, we don't necessarily hate rom-coms. We hate rom-coms that aren't funny. We also hate one specific thing, and I will tell you exactly what that is. Now, the thing I found this the most in is your Korean romantic movies or TV shows, but it happens in so many things, and this is what we don't like. At the end of the movie, after being completely emotionally unavailable and all those other things that women seem to froth over, the guy decides he's going to completely change his personality. He usually quits his job or gets fired, and then goes over crawling back to the woman and does a big romantic gesture and lives the rest of his life as her little lapdog. And the reason why I don't like that is because that sets an unrealistic expectation on men. Why? Well, women see that and go, that's the way romance should be. Hell no. Okay, if a guy is the way he is, either accept him or don't. We're not asking you to end up with him. He was a dick during the movie. He's probably going to be a dick later in life. So, leave him. Go find someone who's nice. If you want someone who wants to spend every moment of every day with you, how about you date someone who's unemployed? But if you want to date someone like that, don't expect him to pay for crap because he's broke. You're going to have to figure it out. Alright, next question.
Why do you make women sit around and talk about men in movies?
When y'all easily just sit around and talk about boobs for hours.
Alright, the issue that we have is not necessarily the fact that we don't like it when you talk about men. It's the fact that you make comments that would not be acceptable in front of women if we were to do it. And it's kind of funny because they've set a double standard here, and I like the way they've done it because a lot of people won't realize it. Is what they've said is, why don't you like us talking about men when we're watching movies? Now that's with us, because otherwise we wouldn't know about it. Correct. Okay. But men can talk about boobs for hours on their own, like with other guys. Now, to start with, guys don't talk about boobs for hours. I have worked in entirely female offices, and I've worked in entirely male offices, and I can guarantee you, women, you far dirtier than guys are. Oh my goodness.
Girl, you nasty.
Guys, okay, let me explain it to you in really basic terms. If a guy, let's say a guy goes home with a girl, and everyone knows about it because everyone was out that night and they saw you leave with the girl. The most graphic a guy will get with the boys will be like, dude, it was great. Or like, you know it. Or, That's what will happen with a guy. That's as far as it. Or, bro, like that chick I was talking to you last night, I totally hit that. That's as far as it goes. Girls, holy crap. One girl goes home with the guy and she tells her girlfriends at work. The girls know what size he is, which way he swings. Dude, it's ridiculous, man. The shape of it, the consistency. I've sat in the offices working, hearing it in the background, and damn, girls, you go into so much detail. It's like, relax. Now let's go into the other part of it. The other part of it is that we don't like it when you talk about the guys in movies. The reason being is because you say things that would not be okay if we were to say the same thing. For example, you talk about you know, you get a guy on screen, let's say Channing Tatum, and the girl's like, oh my gosh, he's like, oh, like, yes. Could you imagine if a guy did that in front of his girlfriend? The police get called, he's getting like crammed through his skull with a stiletto. Total double standard. But nice try. Alright, let's go to the next one.
Do you automatically assume that you won't like TV or movies that star a female lead?
We don't automatically assume that we won't like something because it stars a female lead. We usually won't like the movie that stars a female lead because of the type of movie that it is. Reason being is guys usually like comedy and action. And very few movies have action stars. However, you do get the occasional one, like Jennifer Lawrence in The Hunger Games, one of my favorite sets of movies. I never once went, oh, well, it's a chick, it's probably gonna suck. No, because it was right up my alley. That's the sort of thing I'm into. Alright, in the same way, you got comedies. Let's look at something like Notting Hill. I never looked at that and went, oh, well, it's Julia Roberts, it's probably gonna stink. I looked at it and I went, well, it's comedy, let's give it a go, and it's one of my favorite movies. So it really depends, like, you know, but then you look at something like the female remake of the Ghostbusters was terrible. Now, I knew it was going to be terrible from the start, because usually when you try to completely remake something, but only in one specific demographic, okay, so like say for example they remade Death at a Funeral with an only black cast. They went too far, the comedy was over the top, it didn't quite work. The British comedy was already slapstick as it is, but they tried to go a little bit too far and you know, make it too much like, you know, their own with the style, and they ruined it. Same thing with Ocean's 8. They tried to make an all-female cast of Ocean's 11, and it just didn't work. The same thing with Ghostbusters. They tried to do an all-female cast of Ghostbusters. It just didn't work. But then you look at a movie like Bridesmaids, which is an almost all-female cast, but it was an original, it was something different, and it actually really went well. So it's not the fact that we assume that because you got a female cast, or because you got a female lead, that we're not going to like it. A lot of the time we look at it and we look into why you're doing this and why you're making a character like that and why you're making a movie like that, and we sit there and we establish whether or not it is the type of movie that we would want to watch. Anyway.
Are you surprised when women are funny?
I'm probably funnier than you.
Okay, we are surprised when female are funny because it's very, very rare, to be truly honest. I know this is going to land me some hate, but men are, as a general rule, much funnier than women. Generally because men have to rely on things like humor an awful lot more. Women look better than guys. I will honestly say that. Guys have to rely on other things. I'll give you an example. If a girl goes to a club, she will have her lineup of guys, even if she looks like a cave troll, because there will be a guy out there who's desperate enough who will think she's like, you know, that's close enough, let's go there. That's not the way it works for a guy. If a guy goes to the club, he has to be good looking, he has to be funny, he has to have money, he has to be suave, he has to be able to talk to girls. There are so many things that guys have to rely on. Therefore, guys develop certain things a lot quicker than women. And as a general rule, I truly believe that men develop a much better sense of humor. And all we have to do is look at Hannah Gatsby, and there's your evidence right there. And no, sweetheart, you're probably not funnier than me. The reason being is you look like the biggest Karen in the world, and that's all she wrote. Let's continue.
Why do you think that we're obsessed with you when we hook up?
9 times out of 10, I just want you to leave too. I'm busy. I got shit to do.
Okay. We don't assume that you're obsessed with us. That is our goal, though, obviously. Like, if we've got a girl that we really, really like, we kind of want to keep her around, so we want to be the best guy that we can. We want to bring out our best traits, we want to bring out our best attributes. If a girl indicates that she is, I don't want to use the word obsessed because that's a creepy term, but if a girl indicates that she really likes a guy, then yeah, we definitely want to pick up on that, and we want to be like, well, that's great. We're obviously doing something right, because guys have to work very, very hard to get girls. Girls don't have to work very, very hard to get guys. So if a girl is super into a guy, that is much more of an accomplishment than if a guy is super into a girl. Because let's face it, a girl rocks up and like, want to touch the hiney, guys are interested. It's that simple. Guys don't get that luxury.
Why can't I sleep with as many people as I want to without being judged? When men do it, they're congratulated.
Okay, you can sleep with as many people as you want. You will get judged because that makes you a hoe. When guys sleep with as many people as they want, that makes them a hoe as well. And no guy, no guy sits there and goes, oh bro, you hooked up with like 50 chicks. That's so sick. No, if a guy tells another guy that he slept with 50 women, the guy that he told realizes he just shook hands with the guy and he goes and gets Purell and rubs his hands because he doesn't want to be on a 7-day course of penicillin. It's as simple as that. It is a massive old wives' tale that women truly believe that guys have this weird like backstreet club where they all go and high-five each other every time they sleep with a girl. It's not what happens. There is so much judgment guy to guy, especially if you've slept with women under false pretenses, like if you have lied to them in some way or form in order to get them into bed. If you have only had the intention of sleeping with them and ditching them, that is very, very frowned upon in the male community. So it's not something that guys actually like sit there and go, oh yeah, bro, well done, high five. That's not what we do. It's not what we do. As a matter of fact, like, good friends will actually challenge you on it and be like, bro, like, that's someone's daughter. You've actually done the wrong thing there. You know, not necessarily every time they sleep with a girl, like, yeah, we're not there to like cock block everyone, but we will actually challenge the reasons behind a guy's actions way more than a girl will with her friends. And also, I have heard girls congratulate each other on sleeping with guys. Oh my gosh, he's like so hot. Well done. Yes, queen. Sound familiar? Anyway.
Why do you consider a woman a tease if she doesn't sleep with you after 3 dates, but a slut if she sleeps with you on the first date?
Okay, this is a really interesting one because there's no real best time. I mean, let's face it, guys are very, very physically switched on, which means that if a girl comes over and says, I want to sleep with you, it is very difficult for a guy to say no, because if they're attracted to a girl physically, that's really enough for most guys. Okay? Girls obviously need a lot more of an emotional connection and blah 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 blah. It's just the way that we're wired, okay? It's good for a guy to get an emotional connection as well, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here going, well, all guys just, you know, wanted da 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 da. It's not the way it works. Guys are very different, person to person. So as girls are very different person to person, but as a general rule, guys are a lot more physically switched on and attuned as far as the way that they initially connect with someone. Very much so. So, it's not the fact that you're a tease, alright? Now, I know girls who have gone home with a guy and stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning, making out with him on the couch, and then left. That's poor form, okay? Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm not sitting here, like, promoting going home and, you know, anything like that, but, like, if you are giving all the correct signals and going home with the guy after a date is a very heavy signal. So if you're doing that and then leaving, but making him wait until like 2 o'clock in the morning, that would be a tease. Alright? But yeah, like, you know, if you're going out and nailing a dude on the first date, like, maybe go home and rethink your life choices. Guys too.
In what world does no mean yes?
No means no.
Okay. No does mean no, and 99.99% of guys will agree with this. There's such a stupid belief that some women have, and I truly believe that most women don't have this belief. The belief that all guys believe that no means yes. Even when guys say this, like, it's a joke. The fact that sometimes that happens and horrible things happen to certain people with the whole no means no, yep, that's terrible, and it's terrible that it happens. Never going to justify that, but that's like 0.00001% of the population would have done something horrible like that. While we're on the topic of no means no, shoe shopping. Ask any married guy, he has guaranteed said no means no, shoe shopping still happens. Not comparing the two, one is shoe shopping and one rhymes with grape, but I thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, next one.
Why do you say that women are too emotional to be leaders?
Then justify catcalling by saying men just can't control themselves.
Okay, the people who say that women are too emotional to be leaders are idiots, and again, that's a 0.0001% chance. However, usually men have more leadership qualities as a general rule. Usually men are more dominant and driven than women, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just because guys and girls are different. It's that simple. Men and women have been built differently. They have different purposes, different strengths, different weaknesses, and we're kind of glad about that, because if chicks were more like guys, Ugh, that would be just like a terrible thing for us straight men. Anyway, let's continue.
Why do you think that just because you're nice to me, I owe you my body?
Alright, what makes you think that just because you're nice to me, I owe you my bank account?
Why would you ever send an unsolicited dick pic?
Okay, now guys, just never send an unsolicited dick pic, okay? At the end of the day, dick pics are risky anyway. But look, between two consenting adults and that's what you're into, then look, I honestly don't really see the problem with that. At the end of the day, that's really between you and them. Obviously, if that then gets leaked and goes online and people see it, that would be a terrible situation. But never send an unsolicited one. At the end of the day, it's not only poor form, it's actually illegal. Don't do that. But no guy has ever in the history of the universe complained about a girl seeing unsolicited boob picture. Just throwing it out there.
Why do you feel like it's okay to harass women or make offensive comments about women, but when somebody does it to your sister, it's not okay?
Oh, it's really simple. Because we're hypocritical. It's that simple. Look, it's never okay to harass women. It's never okay for women to harass men. Again, not all men harass women. Not all women harass men. The people who do are terrible people. It's simple as that. That's not a man-woman thing. That's a terrible person, normal person thing.
How does it feel to interrupt me when I'm in the middle of making a point during a meeting?
Okay. Interrupting anyone is rude, and yes, sometimes I am guilty of that. It's something I am working on. We do not interrupt you because you're a woman. We interrupt you either because we have just blurted out something that we felt was really needed for the conversation, not justifying it. That is the wrong thing to do, but we may have done that, or we may just be interrupting you because you're talking about stupid crap and you feel like we should be listening to you just because you're a woman, even though you actually have no idea what you're talking about in this particular instance and are saying stupid things. Hilariously enough, we would interrupt you if you're a guy and said stupid things. But girls, as a general rule in the workplace, do feel a lot more entitled to express their opinion just because they're a woman. A guy will never be like, well, I'm a man, so therefore you should listen to me, because every person in the office, man and woman, are going to think you're a dick. Just the hard facts.
Why do you have to sit with your legs so wide open?
I get that you have balls, but I don't stand around with my arms wide open to make room for my boobs.
Alright, so the reason why we do that is really simple, okay? Our balls are between our legs. There's nothing we can do about it, and it doesn't matter which way you work it, they will continue to be between your legs. If you smush them like that, it's really, really painful. So we sit with our legs probably about a 60-degree angle. I'm doing it right now, and it doesn't actually affect anything because I'm still sitting within the confines of my seat. The whole point of this whole man-spreading thing, it's really, really stupid. All it is just another reason for feminists to complain about crap. And why don't you hold your arms out wide? Because of your boobs. It's because your arms are on the side of your body and your boobs are on the front. You absolute half-a-tard. You should know that, and it's such a stupid thing. And this chick who's dancing in front, the reason why she doesn't have to do that is because her boobs aren't impeding anything.
Oh, snap! Here it comes, y'all!
Why are women perceived as the weaker sex, even though we literally birth you? Like watermelons through like this.
There be treasure!
Okay, really, really simple. Because you are. It's just simple. It's basic. And you look at, like teenage boys' soccer teams beating international women's soccer teams, and the guys like 13, 14 are just running rings around them. You look at the male sprinting speed in the Olympics compared to women's. You look at the male high jump. You look at the boxing. You look at the UFC. Like, look at that tranny dude who was in the UFC and like breaking chicks like skulls and stuff. It's so obvious that men are stronger. Giving birth has got nothing to do with it, okay? Yeah, that's a painful thing and that's horrible, but it's got nothing to do with physical strength, okay? It's got everything to do with the fact that you are the biological holder of the baby and that it's got to get out there somehow. Nothing to do with strength, but kudos to you chicks. We don't have to do it and we appreciate that.
Why is it so bad to show your emotions?
It means you're human.
Okay, this is actually the first valid point they've made. Guys often try not to show their emotions. The reason being is because we get told we can't. It's really simple. Girls spend their entire lives telling guys, show your emotions, show your emotions, show your emotions. But then when we show our emotions, so often girls don't like it. Alright? So often girls will get upset because you're showing their emotions. And you'll say something and they don't like that, and all of a sudden they get upset, and then we end up having to apologize to you for sharing our emotions. So as a general rule, we just don't do it. It's easier. It's so much easier. Because guys are simple. We just want what's easy. We want what's easy. And if we can handle not doing it just to avoid problems, that's exactly what we're going to do.
Why are you always trying to prove your masculinity to me?
Okay, proving masculinity. That's a really simple one, and it's because girls set very high standards of guys. Okay, you can complain and you can say that I'm being chauvinistic and everything else, but that's as simple as it is. Girls set very high standards of guys, and guys just can't reach it. So guys have to try to do that. Right, you take a look at any video on the internet where girls talk about the standards they have for a guy. Guy has to be 6'3", he has to have a six-pack, he has to have tattoos, he has to have nice hair, he has to have good skin, he has to have good teeth, he has to have a cute smile, he has to have a nice job, he has to have a good car, he has to have a house, it has to be paid off, blah 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 blah. Guys will literally settle for a nice-looking girl who is nice to him and not in a super amount of debt. We'll settle for that. We will go for that, but girls won't. So girls set the standards super high. Guys have to try to set they have to try to hit those standards. And then what happens? Well, girls complain because they're like, well, why is he trying so hard? That's why.
Why the f isn't it ladylike to cuss? When did words get genders?
Why?
Okay, it's not ladylike to cuss, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because cussing is a lower class, non-classy, non-sophisticated thing to do. And the reason why is because we have, as men, put women in a position where we consider you more sophisticated and classier than us guys. So when a girl starts cussing and just acting the same way that your standard tradie would on the street, it is a little bit of a surprise to some men because we automatically put you in that pedestal. If you don't want to be on that pedestal, well, sure, but then you're going to complain that we don't put you on the pedestal. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. Look, I don't think it's very classy for a guy to curse, or to cuss in this case. Cuss, C-U-S-S. Let's see if that's in the dictionary. But yeah, it's because guys have a higher regard to women than they do to men. It's that simple. Take it as a compliment.
Is it your first instinct to doubt women who have been sexually violated or raped?
Why do you
Okay, the reason why, and it's not that our first instinct is, it's the fact that so many times it has happened where a woman has said, this is what happened, and it turns out she was lying. So many times men have ended up in prison for years just to find out that he was actually innocent. Alright, we've seen it in the NRL so many times. About 5 guys in the last 6 or 7 years have been Me Too'd, and it turns out one of them did it, and one of them ended up in prison. Then they found out that he didn't do it, and so he got let out of prison. And then all of a sudden she turned around and she was like, well, no, actually he did do it, and they threw him back in prison. That court case is going to be going on for years, but holy crap, by the time he gets out, he's going to be pissed. So that's why, if you girls stop crying wolf, we'll probably start believing you a little bit more often. For the women where it does happen, that's terrible, and we don't want that to happen, and we want to make sure that doesn't happen, and that's why you got things like women's refuges, and you've got the charities that help, and these organizations that go in and take people out of domestic violence situations. But there's also an awful lot of girls who will just Me Too a guy because she's pissed at him, and that's not okay.
assume a woman's angry because she's on her period?
Why?
Okay, this is a really interesting one. I'd like to unpack this. It's the whole she's angry, she must be on her period. It's actually kind of funny because what we actually do is we give you the benefit of the doubt. Alright, now women do get angry on their period. It's very, very simple. You can tell me whatever you want, but I live in a household of girls. And there is no single one of them maybe past the. Let's not get into that. But every single one of them has been old enough to do that, and holy crap, they sink. And once a month, I'm trying to get on tour and out of my household because it is dangerous in here. All right, but guys do crack that joke, okay? And it's just giving you the benefit of the doubt. Oh, she's angry. Oh, she must be on a period. We're giving her that opportunity of like, oh, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe there's a logical explanation. We turn it into a joke because our feelings probably got hurt by what you said. But we don't get that, with guys. If a guy says something horrible, we're like, wow, what a dick. There's no benefit of the doubt. So when we say, oh, she's angry, she must be on a period, that is us trying to find any reason to believe that you're not a horrendous toxic bitch.
Why do you think women that wear makeup are false advertising? We can say the same thing about your dick size.
No, you can't, because makeup never makes dicks bigger. It's that simple. You can completely change the way a woman looks by putting makeup on. No makeup in the world has ever made a dude's dick look bigger.
Why isn't it weird that there's a bunch of old white men sitting in a room making legislation about what I can and can't do with my body?
Do you have a coochie?
Why?
Okay. This is another ridiculous one. It's the whole old white man. In order to do that, you would actually have to take a look into every single legislation board that oversees legislation for every single government in the world. Now, given the fact that Caucasians make up about a quarter of the world's population, we would assume that means that 3/4 of the legislating bodies in the world are not white. Then you to take a look at old, you would have to take a demographic research as to the age of people who are doing that. And obviously by the time you get that far up into a political campaign or into a government body, it does take a bit of time. So yeah, probably most of them are a little bit older. But white and men, you'd really have to stretch in order to find out that every single legislative body in the world is run by old white men. I think it's simple. I think you can't come up with any logical explanation or logical argument for this, so you just blame it on white people.
Are straight guys so obsessed with lesbians?
Oh, I can explain this one. Okay. Girls have boobies. Guys like boobies. One girl has 2 boobies. 2 girls have 4 boobies. 1, 2, 3, 4.
2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths.
Like. Simple.
How does it feel to get kicked in the balls?
It is absolutely terrible and gut-wrenching, and usually brings in certain amounts of, when I say trauma-based responses, I don't mean like PTSD. I mean like the body responding to a certain way that the body has been reacted as if it's been some sort of accident, and it will react in a certain way. If a guy gets hit in the balls hard enough, he usually throws up. And that will give you a bit of an idea as to how the body is handling that level of pain. I do not wish that on any of my worst enemies, the people who I hold in the lowest regards. I don't want them to get kicked in the balls.
Ever get tired of trying to be manly all the time?
Okay, you asked that question already, so.
Why are you so afraid of gender equality?
Okay, we're not afraid of gender equality, and I agree we don't have it, and that's because women actually have a way better deal, and that's the thing called chivalry. No person has ever opened a car door for me. Simple as that. No person has no girl on a date has ever offered to pay for my meal. I have paid for 100% of my dates, and yeah. I think we don't like the fact that there's no equality. 100%. She's got it. She doesn't realize she's got it because she's thinking the other way. But yeah, I think women should step up.
Why do I deserve to be paid less than you?
In what world does 77 cents equal $1?
In what world does 68 cents equal $1?
Only in your world, because in the real world you're getting paid $1 for every dollar that your male co-worker is doing in the exact same job in the exact same industry, and there are so many people who debunk this. I'm not even getting into it.
Later.
I thought it was 77 cents. Now it's 68 cents. You see, even in the same video in back-to-back clips, you still don't have a reasonable argument for this.
Why are you intimidated by a woman who makes more money than you? That's awesome! More money!
We are never intimidated by a woman who makes more money than us. If a woman makes more money than us, that's great. The real question is, where does that money go? If she wants to do stuff with the money, that's wonderful, is the same expectation on her as it is on a man. Because a man, the expectation of the money is the money goes to the things that they do. That he will buy dinner, and he'll buy movies, and he'll buy, the things that they go and do, and he'll buy groceries and blah 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 blah. When they're dating, 100% the expectation is on the man. So where's the woman's money going? I've got no issues with a woman making more money than me. I'm wondering, where's that money going?
Why are opinionated women seen as bitches?
When opinionated men are seen as bosses.
That's really simple. Opinionated women are seen as bitches because they are, and opinionated men are seen as dicks because they are. Opinionated guys are not seen like bosses. Opinionated men are dicks, and it's really simple. No guy sits and goes, wow, he's really opinionated and he was just a douche to me. What a boss. No guy says that.
Why aren't you speaking up when you hear your male friends behind closed doors make jokes that are offensive to women?
Okay, why don't you step up when your friends meet to someone who ends up in jail? Answer that question for me and I'll answer that one.
Why are you so afraid of recognizing your own privilege? Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Just recognize it and do something about it.
You know, no one's ever actually been able to fully prove anything about white privilege, and the reason being is because it doesn't exist. That there is an Asian woman, and she got brought onto BuzzFeed specifically because she is Asian and she is a woman, and that from them, their perspective is diversity, and therefore they want that person on there to show how diverse they are. Me, I am a straight white male, and I am making my own video in my garage right now, my studio. So you tell me who has more privilege between you and me. Anyway, that was the video, guys. If you have any questions about this, if you disagree with me, let me know, okay? Keep it professional. Like, let's be honest and nice about this. All right, I have been very direct about this. I have been a little bit critical at times, and I have made fun at times. But you know, let's keep it to the same level I have, and I'll see you guys in the comment section because I guarantee there'll be a couple. Peace out, guys. Have a good one. Make sure you jump out and check out my latest song. I think you'll really like it. It's the second one out of the AI written album called Artificial Intelligence. The song is called Hitting the V-Spot. Bear with me. And what the song is actually about, I got the AI to write me a song about a guy who gets too many girls and he's sick of it, and so he wants to find a way to make himself less attractive. He tries a whole bunch of different things, they don't work, so he goes out and he sells his BMW and he buys himself a Volvo. Have a good one. Make sure you like and subscribe.